Welcome to another Quantum Conversation, brought to you by AcousticHealth.com. I'm Loren Gailey, and I invite you to sit back as we enter the quantum realm, that space of the greater part of you. It is your connection to infinite possibilities, infinite potential, and infinite mastery. Hello, beautiful people. Thank you for joining us today. We are going quantum in a whole new way because this is all about quantum curiosity, and it's about shifting your frequency and going into a frequency that will absolutely shift your reality. And today we're talking about how to use DMT to activate your 100% potential. Jewels Arnes is here with us. She is a fabulous light worker. She is a multidimensional being as well, and she brings down information from the higher realms that is totally quantum, and it's changing our planet. And someday it will be changing the medical world. I know that for a fact. Hi, Jewels. Welcome.
That gave me chills. Thank you, Lauren. I'm so happy to be here.
This is a fascinating conversation. This is all about becoming BIOQuantum with DMT. Now, DMT, tell us about that, because that is what is found in psychedelic drugs. It's also what happens that takes us out of body. So tell us more about DMT and how you're working with it.
I love this. So DMT, there's actually a little story behind it, but to just kind of ease everybody's minds that we're not talking about the actual chemical of DMT, we're using the frequency, and the frequency of DMT is actually measured at 963 hertz, and we're converting it to a scalar frequency. And that scalar frequency is holding what we would say is source intelligence. And so if you think about, okay, so if you can measure the frequency of source, and then we're activating that frequency on a cellular level through the DNA, because source intelligence is transcribed in our DNA. A lot of us know that we have dormant DNA codes and all these different things. And so both on a biological level and on a frequency level, DMT is the frequency and the chemical that is allowing our body to really turn on the other 90% that we're not using. And for me, it's time to turn it inside out to where we actually turn the body on to its full potential, and then let consciousness actually catch up to what that is, because our body is so intelligent. I'll even go as far as to say that our body, when turned on in this way and it starts to move out of the programming that it's holding, is the most advanced technology there is.
Fabulous. Again, your work with all of these frequencies and the DNA and how we program all of it is fascinating. So now that you're here with this frequency, the source frequency, that really is fascinating. So then let's talk about this. Then that frequency, what do we need to do to work with it?
Mm-hmm. You know, just like anything else, intention goes a long ways. But with that, having some tools and different things that we can do to activate those frequencies also goes a long way. And for anybody that has kind of followed my work, I've been obsessed with turning on 100% human potential, or ascending the body, or, you know, really showing what is capable and in this form that we came in. You know, so often we focus on consciousness and being able to go multidimensionally, and we do all of this with our consciousness, but we always are leaving our body behind. And just this innate knowing is that our body is supposed to be leading the way. and our consciousness is having the experience. And so when we start to activate these DMT codes and our cells are actually holding the frequency of source intelligence, our body starts to break out of the looping cycle, or that 10% of the programmed body, and starts moving into what we're calling the quantum body. That's why we call it BIOQuantum, is because our body is already multidimensional. It already knows it's multidimensional, but we're only having the experience of the 10% that we experience through the five senses. And so when we start to open up and attune to the frequency of this DMT, you could say, or that source intelligence, we start to actually bypass that programming, and we are following the body by attuning our consciousness to the intelligence. And so it's kind of taking everything and I call it turning it inside out, because when we do that, it really does give us the empowerment to move outside of those looping cycles. And you could even go as far as saying age and disease.
Okay, yes, that is really cool. So we can get outside of the timeline, the looping timeline of aging. That's really a belief system. Tell us more about this. That's fascinating.
Yeah, and that's giving me chills too. I mean, if you think about what is creating our reality is observation through programming and agreements. And so often we aren't really even conscious about what it is that we're agreeing to. But when we start to wake up, which if you're listening to this, you're well on your way, or you're pretty advanced in your awakening, you start to see through the illusions, right? In whatever way that is. But even then, we're still in observation. So what is creating a timeline is observation. And so when we start to turn on these DMT codes in our DNA, our body starts to move into what I call a projection of that frequency, or an expression. So it's no longer, you could see the cells are no longer looking into the environment to find out what it is, or it's no longer in that primal behavior of needing to be on guard because of the environment. And it's just in the expression of that 963, or source frequency, because in that frequency, everything is bypassed. It's the way you can see it is that everything's the frequency of source. But if we're choosing a frequency, let's say down here, so let's say this is source, this is 963, and we're observing through the frequency of, let's say, 20, then that's going to be what our reality is. And that's going to be the frequency that our body, and they're even measuring the body is right around 7.5 hertz. Just think what our body will be when it's holding 963. And we're not talking about the hertz wave of an emotion or where we can go consciously. We're talking about the actual frequency that our body is holding. Its innate frequency is 963. That's the other 90% that we're starting to step into. I think I got off on our question, but that's where it went.
So fascinating. We're working, there's almost a summit coming up on the light body. And what I'm sensing is that this frequency, the 963 frequency, one thing, 963, those numbers are so powerful. But this frequency, if we're holding that frequency in our cells, we are embodied. That is an embodiment, isn't it? That is our light body within us. What are your thoughts on that?
I agree. It's when our body actually becomes that frequency, we become source intelligence. And, right now because we are so programmed to be in observation, we are always naming the body through our programming, right? But when we turn this inside out and we turn on that frequency and our body actually becomes that frequency, well, where is our consciousness? It's in the body. So all of a sudden, our consciousness was going to start to raise to that frequency as well. And I even say so much that the consciousness is following the intelligence, right? Because our body is the intelligence and our consciousness is always following that. Well, we've been taught that it's the other way around, and it's not true because the intelligence is always ahead of us, right? So if we just focus on that instead of all of our programming, we open up this whole other world where we're stepping into a space of empowerment that we didn't even know was possible. But what's really cool about it, and I'll share this in a little bit, is that a lot of times we don't even know that it's happening yet because our consciousness is only able to hold what it can hold. But there's all this, this whole part of the body being in this frequency is already there. And I'll share a story with you because I've been working with the DMT codes, which is part of our offer since last November. Really started using them over all my other work because I knew this was the biggest one, right? I was like, okay, this is it. And so a year ago, I did a DNA test that tested my telomere length and my pace of aging. I got the test back and I was like, okay, that's good. I'm happy with this. And so when my business partner was like, let's do it again. Let's see. I have never done it. Let's see what mine is. And I'm like, okay, I'll do it again. It's only like 10 months have passed. So I was like, well, it's probably going to be about the same.
After 10 minutes.
No, 10 months, 10 and a half.
10 months.
10 and a half months. Yeah. So I was like, but I hadn't done anything different. And I was like, well, it's probably going to be about the same. And of course, I'm almost a year older, so maybe it'll actually be worse. I went from my telomere length being at age 37 to age 19 in 10 and a half months. And my pace of aging went back down 0.5%.
Wow.
So that's huge. I'm in the 99th percentile of the lowest telomere, lowest telomere age for my age in 10 and a half months.
Wow. See, you are on the leading edge. It's really fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. And those DNA tests that show the telomere length, that's fascinating. Yes. I didn't know that you could do those. How would people find those? Once they do your program, it's always good to have that baseline, right? And then
I strongly recommend doing it. So the company that we're using is True Diagnostic, and they have just a basic telomere test that you can take. You actually prick your finger and you have to they have a lab. It's one of the only companies that actually has their own lab. So it's not going anywhere else, which is really nice. You want it to stay in-house, right? So it's the one that I recommend. I'm still blown away from it because we know what I think is really cool about the pace of aging part of it. Okay, so first of all, I believe, Lauren, that once we really start to activate this frequency in our body, it really turns on, and it's given permission to do what it can do without our consciousness getting in the way, our belief systems, the looping cycles, that we're going to get to 100% telomere length. And we're going to reverse that pace of aging to 0. I know it in my body that we're going to be able to do this. And this journey that I'm about to go on, that we'll talk about here in a little bit, I just had this test done. So I'm going to do it again in 3 months after my journey and see if we can get it down even lower.
Wow. So fascinating. I know. All right. So everybody watching and listening, I know we're all like, okay, so what is it? We're going to talk about your special offer and ways that people can work with this, but we do want to share a little bit more information about it first. It really is fascinating. So there are, now we're getting into epigenetics, the belief systems, right? And so if the body is holding a frequency, then it's going to override those belief systems, right? And so as you did this, you've been working with the DMT frequency in your life, and you really did nothing different except just holding these frequencies. And you look great, by the way. I mean, every time we meet, you look fabulous. Aww. So I know that, wow, that's testimony in itself. So what are the 12 epigenetic codes of aging? Let's talk about those and how we can literally transcend them or turn them off.
Well, in that they are exactly what you just said. So there's codes that organically, if we're in the timeline of our programmed body, that start to turn on as we age. And usually it's right around age 20, actually, that these codes start to turn on. And what ends up happening is that it starts to kind of break down how the cell is dividing. And so there's epigenetic codes, like I can just name off of, actually telomere length is one of the codes. So every time that your cell is dividing, your telomeres fray and get a little bit shorter. And when they're all the way gone, the cell stops dividing and you die, right? But that also can show on what your skin looks like. It's the one organ that we can actually see what our cells are doing, right? And so there's other things like telomere or epigenetic alterations, and you can just I won't go into what they all are, but each DMT code is working on a specific epigenetic code of aging and holding it in a pattern to where it's identifying in the frequency of 963, over identifying in the timeline of the agreement or the belief system that's creating the looping cycle of life and death, because the body knows that that's not its innate being. It knows that it's in the frequency of source. It knows that the body is supposed to be having the experience of 963, but because we're only focused on the 10%, and a lot of that is even on a science basis. If you think about how science has been created, it's all through our five senses. That's all programmed. There's another 90% that nobody's really, and they're starting to, like, now you can get a degree in quantum biology and do these really fun things, but it's not even that, because it's still being observed through our programming. It's so much more.
Yes. Okay. And so then the belief systems, so it really is, so the belief systems, when we talk about youthing, it really is bringing on your light body, which means clearing out the baggage, which means clearing out the belief systems. So this is almost like accelerating embodiment. So how do you use the frequency of DMT? How are you using it? Do you meditate with it? How do you get access to this frequency?
Well, so how it's been broken down is that there's 12 different codes, and they're actual codes. Like, here's the code number 2. So it has no beginning and it has no ending. There's no up, there's no down. And it's holding specific information in the frequency of 963. So this is the second code. It's connected to, actually, and you'll learn all of this if you choose to go into the masterclass, but it's connected to an epigenetic code. It's connected to a law of the universe, because we're breaking the laws of the universe, because those are creating looping cycles. They're connected to belief systems. They're connected to, I'm trying to remember what all they are. Oh, a code of a nutrient, because right now our body is dependent on the earth to survive, those micronutrients that our body needs in order to survive, even like the food cycle, like all of these different looping cycles that we've created. But when we turn on our body to that 963 and we become 100% that frequency, our body no longer needs oxygen. It no longer needs food. It no longer needs sleep, because there's no need for it. Everything that it needs is within that frequency. And that's the easiest way to break through looping cycles, is because you can't loop when you have everything you need.
Yes. All right. This is so fascinating to think that you don't need air or water. Okay. So, and then you said something about the laws of the universe. Oh my gosh. For example, give us an example. I know that your course goes into all of these and people work with it, but a law of the universe, like law of the circle, everything comes back to us. Or give us an example of how you're breaking the laws of the universe. That would be kind of disconcerting to some, because it's like the laws of the universe. But you're saying that that's what keeps us looping. So when we're outside of those laws, we are really source frequency.
Right. Well, if you think about why we have laws? Well, we have laws because we're in a looping cycle of programming, which creates different frequencies or different outcomes, different realities within the frequency of source. But if we're 100% source, then there's no need for laws. Not only is there no need for laws, but they don't belong there. Like they can't exist there, right? So like cause and effect is DMT code number 1, and is also connected to the looping cycle of age and disease, or the life and death cycle. Cycle. So cause and effect is directly related to that. So the way you can see it is like right now, if we do something, then it has an effect. Like, so if I eat chocolate cake, I might have a sugar high, right? Or if I eat chocolate cake, I do it every single day, I might gain some weight, right? That's the programming of cause and effect that we are in a looping cycle with. But when we turn on the DMT code and the specific frequency of 963 is released into the body isn't looking outside of itself, first of all, to find anything, because it doesn't need to. It has everything it needs. And so in that way, the cause and effect kind of diminishes, because instead of going outside to do something in order to get something, you just turn on that specific frequency and your body just has it. It literally breaks the looping cycle of cause and effect. And right now, our body already knows this. But because we're only experiencing the 10% of what our body is capable of, we keep looping in that.
Yes. All right. Wow. This is mind-blowing and fascinating. And wow. Okay. So there are 12 DMT codes to work with the 12 epigenetic codes and the 12 belief systems connected to the universal laws. And so let's talk now about your course and ways that people can work with this. Let's describe what goes on there for everyone, because we want this, sure. And there's no side effects, right? I mean, it's all source frequency.
It's all source frequency. I would say if there's any side effects, it's
Bliss.
you start to see life differently, right? You're like, oh my gosh, and you start to see through the illusion, but it's the most empowering feeling. Really, you start to see how powerful you are. And consistently, I would say, I don't know how long it took. I think it was I started coding in November, and I was seeing things right away, especially with my workouts. Like I was doing things that I didn't think there's any way I could do, right? I would go into my first bar class. For those of people that don't know what bar is, it's kind of like a ballet class. I went in my first time, and it was like I'd been doing it for years. My body I just let the frequency turn on, and I did the bar class in my quantum body, and I mastered it the first time. And it's like little things like that were starting to show itself. And then in July, I really broke out and started doing things that were even more challenging, and everything was easy. I shocked myself, because my body was showing me just how quantum it had become. And that's what ends up happening, is your body does these things and you're just like, wow, did I just do that? And you're, like I said, your consciousness is following the intelligence, and it's just along for the ride going, whoa, what is happening?
Oh my goodness.
So
Yeah. How do you turn it on? Again, these are the cards, the codes that you have. So
right. So what in the offer that I have, it is the deck. So there's 12 different codes, and it comes with a 2-hour workshop on how to work with them. And there's so many fun things that you can do with them. Just for example, let's say you're working on, you're sick. Let's just make it really easy, or you're not feeling well. You can literally just take the codes and ask, what 3 frequencies does my body, it's all the frequency of 963, but what 3 information, it's like almost like, what do I need to Google in the frequency of 963 and turn on in order to move my body into the quantum experience of being sick versus the 10% that I'm experiencing now? So you can do little things like that. And you literally just pull the cards, and then I give you how to use them, because you actually stack them on top of each other. And what ends up happening is that you're bringing them into the brain, and then you're activating it on a cellular level. And it's kind of the weirdest thing, because it makes your brain move into that no space, no time. So your thoughts start to change, and you start to communicate with the intelligence beyond words, because you literally start to communicate through the codes. And the codes, again, don't have a beginning. They don't have an end. They don't have an up. They don't have a down. So you're learning a language of source intelligence, and that language has no beginning and no ending. So now just think, if your consciousness actually starts to think with no timelines, and your body is holding that same frequency, your consciousness is merging into the intelligence without creating a loop. Kind of crazy, right?
Yes, it is really fascinating. It's amazing. Tell us how you came up with this. How did this become in your awareness?
Well, I'll go into the story just a little bit. And I think I may have told this story on one of your other, but I think it's worth saying again, just because this is really where it began. So a friend of our family's passed away on his 22nd birthday. His name was Vale. And I was honestly not that close to him. He was really close with my daughter. I was really close with his sister, because she practically lived at our house growing up. And when he passed away, I couldn't even remember what he looked like. It was such a weird thing. I was so disconnected from him, but I could feel him. And it was right after his memorial, he ended up showing up, and it's always in the bathroom or the kitchen, right? He ends up showing up in my kitchen, and he just said, get out a piece of paper. And he said, it's not supposed to be this way. And I knew what he was talking about. He was saying, we're not supposed to die. And getting chills. I can just feel him here right now.
Yeah, me too. It's amazing.
Oh, it's so
here,
good.
I think he's here right now.
Yeah, he definitely is, because his mission is to break the cycle. Like, I can feel how strongly he feels about this. And so he started so what he was showing is that when we're born, and so that's when DMT, the chemical, is released from the pineal gland. And that is the frequency of source. You can measure the frequency of DMT, and it's 963, which is the frequency of source. In that moment, it is transcribed into our DNA. But also in that moment is when the electrons of our body get really active. And the electrons are what are holding our consciousness. Well, get what happens when we die. DMT is released again. So that information is taken out of our DNA and it leaves the body. But guess what else does? Our electrons. So our consciousness that knew that we were that frequency merges back into the frequency of 963, and we become source intelligence once again. But he was showing you don't have to die in order to connect consciousness, the electrons, to the frequency that's in your DNA. And he started showing me exactly how to do it. And to this day, I still have equations that I don't fully understand. But the next place that came through were the DMT codes.
Wow, really fascinating. What a gift. What a beautiful gift. Wow, honoring him, wow. It just It's remarkable, actually. It's really remarkable. And I want to know if, wow, how this is going to interface with the medical world. Has there been any interface? I know you've done the DNA testing. Has anyone in that organization looked at this and said anything to you? Has there been any feedback?
So we just, I haven't heard anything from them, but I also haven't marked. You can mark on the thing if they're allowed to do anything with your results, and I haven't approved that. So
Good.
at this point, they can't legally do anything, and I don't know if they would anyways. But I will say that when it took a while to get my results back, and at one point it had gone to that it was in the lab and it was going into results, like they show you like where on the timeline your thing is. And then all of a sudden, instead of going to results, it went back to just being received. So I think
they reviewed it. Yeah, they probably did. They probably reviewed it again.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So then the clients that are in your posse, that are in your field, that are in your audience from your platform, that have been working with this, what have some of them been experiencing? I mean, your own story of like these amazing physical feats are wonderful, but any other stories that stick out?
Yeah, I think right now where people are, I mean, there's always just the normal things like getting over sicknesses really fast, and being able to lose weight. I have one lady that was a diabetic that now is no longer a diabetic. There's just like little, I'm not going to call this little things because they're not, they're big things, right?
Wow.
But what I'm starting to notice more and more is that people are holding that consciousness in the intelligence. And so the way that they're living their lives is, and I even going to go as far as saying is that they didn't believe that it could be true until they actually started experiencing it. And more people are starting to come out and speak like that they're blown away, because it catches you in the space where it's like, I always thought it could be true, but when you actually start to live it and it becomes so outside the box that it's almost unbelievable, then it's like, what do you say? It's like, I'm living in the miracle, and I didn't think it would ever be possible. I didn't even know what it was to live in a miracle until I started living it.
Okay, well, all right. In our beautiful audience, recently we've been talking about diagnosis that people have that or challenges. Our beautiful beloved Susan and Bob with eyesight challenges. Can this be reversed, do you think?
Honestly, I feel like anything is possible at that. I feel like we have no limitations. What limits us is that, there's this thing, I call it the 1 to the 2 to the 3, right? So once we see something and we're aware of it, so let's say, okay, I have bad eyesight, or I'm starting to get glaucoma, or whatever it is, like, okay, I'm aware of it, the diagnosis, it's there. Well, if we continue to look at that, what are we doing? We're looping in the frequency. You can see this even as a frequency. We're looping in it in through our own programming, because we only can receive it from the 5 senses, let's say. And even if we're able to see it on a higher consciousness, if we're not actually choosing to hold consciousness outside of that, we're going to loop and keep creating that timeline. But there's another frequency that's here, and that's what I call the 3. There's always another frequency. Anytime we're in observation, there's always another frequency, and that's the 963. So in that moment, when we're aware of it, if we choose, we shift our consciousness and we move it up to here. And then we start to hold consciousness here. Well, what's happening in that moment is that our body will also move into that. And then all of a sudden consciousness is following the intelligence, and we're breaking out of the cycles. And that is truly how we start. I mean, I healed a broken bone in 2 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, it's like we're
Wow.
proving it, right? And like honestly, I'm like, I feel like it shouldn't have taken that long. But I'm like, okay, girl, like step back here. Like normally it's like 6 to 8 weeks. And so
Or
give yourself a break. Like you just did that. But I know I'm gonna get to a place where it's gonna be instant, right? Like I think we all know that. I mean, how many of us know on an innate level we should heal instantly because we should?
yes. Wow. Okay. So fascinating. Really, 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 really fascinating. Let's, I've got, here's Susan with her hand raised. So Susan, hi, you are allowed to talk. And do you have a question or a comment? Hello.
Hello, Loren. Oh my goodness. I'm so touched. I'm like almost crying here. Here's Bob too.
Hi, Bob.
Hello. Thank you. Oh my, when I heard my name, I go, Bob, they're talking about us.
Yeah.
Okay. I heard what you were saying. I have what they call, I'm the person with the eyesight problem, retinal degeneration and atrophy now, I found out, of my eyes. I've been doing physical stuff, but how can I kind of reverse this in an energetic sense, like you're talking about, to try to function? My husband does everything for me because I lost my central vision. That's it, point blank. The retinal degeneration I have is affecting central, which you know you need for detail, driving, reading, writing, everything. And that's very upsetting to me because he has to do everything for me right now. But I still believe in miracles that this is going to reverse itself somehow. I just have to find the right help.
Okay, so what I'd like to do is I'm gonna give you one code to work with, and then I'm gonna give you an exercise to do with it. So let's just look what code needs to turn on for you on this. I'm just gonna pull a card. I'm gonna do it just like you would do it at home if you were gonna do it, right?
Okay.
So you got the 1. So just kind of you can just look at it and it's gonna start to turn on. Are you able to see the camera, Susan?
No, you're kind of like blurred and out of focus. That's part of the problem. If you could describe to me, or my husband can describe to me what it is, I can almost picture it then in my mind.
The outline of a circle with the one end slightly open with a dot in the center, and it gets from 2 inch, a half inch wide all the way down to real small as it spins.
Okay, they're kind of showing it to me, as I call it, my internal vision.
Perfect. Well, that's most
Okay.
important out of everything. So now what I want you to do is just shut your eyes
Okay.
and just allow the code to start to turn on in every cell of your body. You could even focus it on your eyes if you wanted to. And as it's starting to turn on, what I want you to do is I want you to, if you want to use your imagination or let that intelligence that shows you the code would be even better, to show you what your quantum body is. I see it as almost like a grid system of light blue light. Like the inside of a computer system is what it looks like.
Mhm.
Whatever you're seeing is perfect.
I'm seeing white with like a navy blue. Right now, everything's kind of navy blue.
Beautiful. Go with that. So just now just ask this code to upload into your quantum body that you're seeing. And you're going to feel almost like your body is moving into quantum body. Now I want you to do that with your eyes specifically. Is what are my eyes in the quantum field? Like, what are my quantum eyes? And then allow the code to move your eyes into this quantum experience of your body. And just feel it. And you can tell your frequency of your body is going to start to raise.
Yes, I'm getting very, lightheaded. It's all coming into my eyes like.
Okay, so it's doing something, right?
I have a lot of energy working around, like, the frontal part of the eyes, like the forehead part, and around to the sides where the temporal area is. They got like really, it's really blue now, very, very dark blue. It changed color.
Okay. So this is your practice, Susan. I want you to bring your eyes into the quantum experience every day, and even start to ask yourself things like, what is it like to see through my quantum eyes? What is it like to see through the frequency of source intelligence in my quantum body? And just start to explore what that is, because then you're taking your consciousness and you're focusing it on what you're becoming instead of the loop that has been created that you're experiencing. So the more that you can have the experience in the quantum body, the more that your body will continue to turn on, because your consciousness needs to catch up, right? So every time you allow your consciousness to raise just a little bit more in that frequency of 963, and you're actually having the experience in your body, the more your quantum body can turn on, because that's the goal, is to have your consciousness fully become the quantum body. So there's no separation between the intelligence and your consciousness anymore. So when you're focusing on asking yourself these kind of questions, you're giving your consciousness something to become instead of looping. Make sense?
Yeah. Okay, I think I'll get the gist of it.
Okay.
So I
want to go back and listen to this again, just to soak it in, but make it really easy. What is my quantum body? Let it show you. Bring my eyes into the quantum body. What does it feel like? If I were to see through the quantum body, what would my life be like? And just let it show you.
Okay.
You can do this. I'm telling you, trust in the intelligence, Susan, because you are the most advanced technology that there is. You are the most powerful healer there is. You can do this. Trust in the intelligence.
Okay. Would it then help restore my normal eyesight?
You know what? Let's not limit it and let it show you what it's possible of doing. I like that part where it's like, well, is it going to be this? And can it do this? It's all of that is our programming trying to come up with what it is and isn't, when it's so much more. It's almost like every time we name it for what it is, we're limiting what it's possible. It's okay to do that, but just be like, okay, well, this is what I am experiencing now, but I know there's so much more. So now I'm going to keep going, and I'm going to keep going, and I'm going to keep going.
Okay.
Okay, Susan, I'm excited for you. You got this.
Wait, I think Bob
No.
wants to ask you a question.
No, just,
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm
Okay.
just here in case you need me.
Wow. Okay. It's just, it's been a while 2 days.
Thank you.
Thank you for that. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Susan.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Loren. And blessings to both of
And
you.
thank you for mentioning her.
Yes,
Yeah,
Loren. Thank you.
So brave. I mean, it's like, I thought of you immediately. So I'm glad that you were on today's show. And wow, I felt goosebumps when we were following along with you. And thank you, Jules, for
Yes, thank you.
showing us how easy it is. And it's like, but the key is not to come in and doubt it and to say, right? It's to just say, show me what it is. And every time I'm in that vibration, my body is lit up. I got goosebumps. And so that's really very fascinating. So Susan, holding a frequency, Jules' work is amazing. And we hope that this is something that you can play with.
All right. Thank you for another tool.
Yes, I mean,
Really appreciate it.
and we are the living testimonials. Our experience with these tools is what changes the medical world. It is the shift. We are doing it. So I love it. Thank you, Susan.
Thank you. Thank you both, and both have a blessed and
Thank
healthy
you very
day.
much.
Thank you. And Bob said thank you too.
Thank you, Bob and Susan. We love you guys. We love everyone. All right. Jules, it's so amazing, really. And now, okay, so that example, it was beautiful how you showed us how to do it. So, and there's another person, E, with the hand raised, and Denise raised your hand. And I want to bring on Abriana as well, some people in our audience. but can you do something for the group of us so that we can, I mean, we were right there along with that and
Mhm.
feeling that, but can we do one for all of us that we can?
Of
experience
course.
with?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, let me just feel, you know what? I'm just gonna do the cards. Sometimes it's just so fun. It's just like, oh, just let the cards show you. Okay, so I'm gonna do 3 codes that we'll do. Okay, this is good. All right, so the first code is the 11. So this is, so as you're looking at the code, just when you're looking at it, and if you can't see it, just know you're receiving it anyways. But when you're looking at it, just wait until you match the frequency. And right when you feel like you've matched the frequency, you can shut your eyes. And then just allowing it to move into your pineal gland. And as it does, it's activating DMT. And this code is turning on in every cell of your body. You can almost see it like turning on a light, that light fills your entire body, turning on the frequency of 963. And the information within this code is the ability to hold consciousness outside of programming. That the body can hold a frequency outside of its programming. And then the second code is the 3. So again, just looking at the code and matching the frequency, allowing it to move into the pineal gland, and just feeling that DMT is releasing, turning on in every cell of your body. And as this frequency is turning on, it's connecting to all of the electrons of your body. All of the electrons begin to click together, creating that system, holding the intelligence of source. You become the quantum body. And this frequency is holding the ability to create within the illusion of the body in the frequency of source. So the way you can say that is that you can be in form and not be form at the same time.
Mm.
And then the last code is the 9. And this is the mastery of the illusion. So it's the ability to create in form without being form, and being in mastery of what form actually is. So allowing this code to turn on as all of these frequencies work together, turning on that frequency of source intelligence, holding your consciousness, outside of programming, the ability to be in form without being form, by mastering what form or the illusion actually is. And that your body knows this, and your consciousness is just having the experience of that. So that was a big one. It's a big one. One of the things that I love is that when we really start to focus our attention on this frequency that starts to turn on in our body, that innate being, that transcribed information that we have access to without having to die, that we actually can become source within the body. I mean, that is the point of being here, right? Is to master what vehicle we came in. We're here to experience source as the body. And when we put our attention on that, it becomes more real than what we physically see. And it gets to a place where when we really master, and this is where I almost feel like, Susan, it's almost a gift where you are, if you allow it to be, because when you become the intelligence of source in your body, you're going to see before you see. You're going to hear before you hear. You're going to know before you think. You're going to feel before you feel, because you don't actually have to have the experience in order to receive the information, because you just are. That's how powerful you are if you allow it to turn on.
Thank you for that. That is so beautiful. I just want to cry right now.
Oh, honey.
No, not out of sadness. It's so beautiful. It is truly so beautiful. I felt each of those codes differently when I got out of my head, and then I just wanted to cry. You're doing such important work, really. I can feel how incredible this is. Just the feeling that from those 3 cards, it's a knowingness. And that's what the tears are. It's a knowingness, it's source, it's divine. And there's nothing to do here. Of course, our ego brains want to say, oh, no, what do? We got to hold this, and I'm ruining it by crying. But wow. Okay. What a gift. What a gift today, this call. Those 3 codes that you shared with us, the experience that you shared with us. It's so beautiful. That was bliss for me. That is like bliss for me. So, all right. Woo.
I call what you just experienced the remembering, because our body already, like our consciousness is remembering what our body already is.
Yes. It's like my body remembering the consciousness, or is the consciousness meeting the frequency? The consciousness is meeting the intelligence. And then feeling that in the body is like, it feels electric, it feels elated, and it's just wonderful. Wow. Okay. Ay. Hi, let's go to some more questions from our audience. Let's go to E. E, I'm allowing you to unmute. And I know your name might be more than E, or it's 888.
Hi.
What's
Can
your
you
name?
hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, what's your name?
Hi, this is Elizabeth.
Hi, Elizabeth. Okay.
Yes.
You have a question for Jewels.
Yes, I do. My question is, as we are living longer, women on this planet, we're getting more wrinkles. And the most wrinkles around the under nose, around the lips, around the mouth, and the cheeks drooping. Can we do something for that?
Of course. So the first thing we'll do the code, and then I'm going to have you do very similar to what I had Susan do.
Okay.
But the first thing I want your practice to be, Elizabeth, is, so right now when you're looking in the mirror, you're seeing through the program body.
Yes.
So this code that we're going to give you today, we're going to turn on that frequency, and then we're going to allow you to move into the quantum body. And then from this moment forward, I want you to, instead observe what the mirror is showing you, I want you to observe what your quantum body is showing you. Because otherwise, just like with whatever the diagnosis is, so in this case, the diagnosis is I have wrinkles.
Right.
If we keep looking at that and agreeing with it, we're just looping. And then our cells will continue to divide over a timeline in a program, and you will continue to get wrinkles because that's the way our cells are programmed. But our cells are holding an intelligence that just needs to be turned on. And then all you have to do is consciously attune to that. That's your new practice. So let's turn on a code for you.
Okay.
Let's see what you've got here. Okay, so you got the 3.
All right.
This is the epigenetic code of epigenetic alteration, which means like basically the code of aging, right? So as we're turning on this code, we're asking that the code of aging turn off. Because did you know that aging is actually an epigenetic code? That there's no biological reason that we age? That's kind of crazy to think about, right? We are literally living in a programmed body that's ready to turn on, and that's all we're going to do for you. Okay, so just taking and looking at the code, Elizabeth.
Okay.
And just allowing your consciousness to meet the frequency that you're feeling in the code. If you don't feel it, that's okay. Just have the experience. And now you're going ahead and shutting your eyes and allowing the code to move into the pineal gland. Feeling the DMT as it's releasing. And as this code turns on in every cell of your body, it's supporting the cell in observing as source over epigenetic alteration, turning off that code. And just feeling that frequency as it moves into the expression of source, connecting to the electrons of your body, creating a system of intelligence. This is your quantum body. Now I want you to take your skin as you know it and push it into the quantum body. Just see your skin being pushed into the quantum body, that system of intelligence, however you see it. Feeling your skin as it moves into the quantum field, being held in the frequency of 963. You could even see your skin lighting up as it is so much more than what you observe through your programmed eyes. Start to discover by asking, allow me to have the experience of my skin in the quantum body. And then allow your consciousness to follow that intelligence. How are you feeling, Elizabeth?
Very excited.
It's
I'm
so
very excited. My it's like everything is jumping inside me.
I love it.
Thank you. Thank
Thank
you.
you, Elizabeth.
Yes.
Everything is jumping inside you. That is it. It's effervescent. It's electric. It's wow, fascinating. All right. Thank you for that, Elizabeth. You did a great question for everyone.
Yes.
We all thank you.
Yes. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you. Wow. Okay. So here's the next question that I can hear from some. What if we drop out of that? Like you look in the mirror and you're like, or whatever. Right? How do we, what do? We just go back into that code, close our eyes, take a breath, reach for that remembrance of that frequency, get outside into the quantum body.
Exactly. It's a practice because we're not going to do it perfect. And we are going to go back into our programming and we're going to forget. But the more that we practice it, the stronger it gets and the more fun it gets. And it's really, yes, it's a tool, but it's so much more, right? Because the tool part of it is what we're doing with our consciousness. The activation part of it, or the awakening part of it, is giving our body permission to be something more than what we're experiencing now. And when we're consistently asking our body, turn on, like really, like turn on. And I'm willing to take the journey of bringing my experience of the body into source. And I'm committed to that. But I don't know what that is, because the only thing I know is what I know. And if I'm willing to let the body show me what it's capable, and that's consistently my focus, is not the programmed body, but the quantum body, then it gives our consciousness something to do. And of course we're still gonna be like, oh, well, I have this and I have this. And so in those moments, I just ask, okay, well, this is what I can see right now, but what is it really? And then I just bring it into the, like, when I have pain, put it in the quantum body. When I'm working out, put it in the quantum body. When I'm cleaning, put it in the quantum body. What's it like to clean in my quantum body? Like, everything is so much better there.
Okay, all right. We want to play in the quantum body. So we've got more questions. We welcome our audience to raise your hand and ask a question from Jewels. We will make time for that. But I wanted you to explain how we can work with this quantum body, this BIOQuantumness that you're working with these programs and these cards. They're beautiful cards. And you're actually getting ready to go on a trip. And so you're actually letting your body, the quantum body, show you what that's like. So tell us about your special offer and the trip that you're taking.
Okay, so there's two packages. The first package comes with a set of the DMT cards, and it also comes with a 2-hour workshop that teaches you how to use the cards. So you have to remember that's going to be working both on your consciousness so that you're able to actually, you know what I love about is, so if for those of you that have more than one language that you have a language that you normally think in, right? And that language has a frequency. So if you're learning a language that's holding source intelligence, just think about what that's going to do for you. It just really think, like, maybe not think about it right now, but sit with that a little later, and it kind of blows your mind, because it works. It definitely raises the frequency of the way that you think when you learn the language of source. So that is the first package. And it also comes with a limited edition of Ormus that I just made that actually holds the frequency of psilocybin. Am I saying that right? I'm like, sorry. Psilocybin.
Mushroom. Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
So I know this is going to sound crazy, but it works with the brain pattern to be able to hold consciousness in the frequency of 963. So it's actually activating the part of your mind that can connect to that frequency. So no, you're not going to trip, and no, you're not going to have a psychedelic experience, but it is Ormus, and Ormus also has an intelligence in itself. So the combination of both of those together, it's bringing that frequency into your body, supporting your consciousness to hold the frequency of 963. And what is the experience of that going to be? Well, your body's going to be able to hold a frequency outside of its program much easier, because you're supporting it with a frequency, and your consciousness is going to be able to hold in a frequency outside of its programming with a lot of support. So together with the cards and this Ormus, you are set up to really start to amplify your experience of the quantum body. That's package A. Package B comes with there's 12 modules where it goes in depth of what each code is doing. So it starts to work with the epigenetic codes, the laws that you're breaking, the code of nutrients, what the code actually means. And it's a recorded 12-week course would say, or lecture series that you can go through. So before I got on the call, I asked Lauren, I was like, this is just coming to me, because what I'm about to do is take that course and I'm bringing it into real life. And I am offering it to my community. But what I would like to do is, for the first 10 people that sign up for package B, I'm going to gift them to be able to go on this journey. It's a virtual journey where I'm actually going to 12 different locations. Oh my gosh. So I just feel like I have to tell this story because it's just so powerful. So my best friend passed away in 2015. His name was Rob. And to this day, he's the one that gave me the alchemy to make Ormus. He's the one that got me to start this skincare. He's the one that taught me how to build a scalar device, all through just listening to him from the other side. I still to this day have his ashes. And I knew one day I would be told what to do. And I knew that I was supposed to leave where I am. So for the last 5 months, I knew October 1st would be my last day where I am. I've given away everything I own. And just about 2 or 3 weeks ago, I finally got the message. And I mean, I literally was going to go to Austin. I had rented a place down there and everything. I withdrew. And what I'm doing is I'm going to take his ashes to 12 different vortexes. I'm going to use the DMT. I'm going to dissolve the separation between the body and the earth through his ashes, because that's what our body becomes. And so I'm literally going to take his carbon and dissolve the separation between life and death. And I am so excited to go on this journey, and I'm inviting people to, I'm going to record the whole thing. I have a GoPro and I'm going to be recording it and sending out the recording of the activation itself, because I'll be off grid. There won't be any internet to do it live. And then I'll be holding reflection calls where we can talk about what our experience was with it and what information is coming through, because I know there's so much more, Lauren. Like literally, we are going to do this. We are going to activate the light body. Like I know in this lifetime, we're going to do it.
Congratulations. That makes me want to cry again. Just feeling that. Oh, what beauty. That is so cool. How liberating as well. Wow. Thank you for listening to your heart and following the call of your heart. Wow. Yeah, you are connected in so many ways to the higher realms. I mean, everything that you've put into your business comes from the higher realms. That's remarkable. Absolutely. Okay. All right. Well, I want to be one of the 10 people that sign up and get your really wonderful. How special is that? It's just so wonderful. Again, I thank you for it. And it's an incredible gift for those who want to work with this. It's available. It's very affordable as well. If those need assistance, there's a 2-payment plan. We hope that is with ease and grace to help you access this technology. This is divine technology. This is source technology, and it's from beyond the veil. And so it's just remarkable. I'll say one more time. Okay. All right. Thank you for that. The link for that is here on this webpage that got you to this conversation. It's also in the Zoom chat box, and it's on our chat box on YouTube. And wherever you're watching or listening to this, you'll find the link in the description box. Check it out, and you can get that right now. So those cards will be mailed out immediately upon the order. And we have someone who said they just got their cards today. Perfect timing. Aquabab says, this is perfect timing. I just got my cards today, which I ordered last week via the Quantum website. Can't wait to use them. Yay. Well, thank you. All right. let's go to a couple more callers. We have a few more minutes in our show. And I would like to unmute Denise. Denise, Colorado girl. Hello, you can unmute yourself.
Yay, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yay, I know that I've been looking for this. I've had 6 injuries from a high impact sports ski injury, and I've handled all of them in 5 years. This one, I am not going to have surgery. That's all they can come up with. It's called lymphedema. High impact sports injuries can cause fluid to build in the cells and between the cells. And surgically, they can fix it, but that doesn't fix the cause. And there's no guarantee it's going to. I know that I can reprogram my cells to be the super athlete that I was before. And I have been looking for that answer.
So Denise, I also am in Colorado. I lived in Summit County for 25 years, and I know your life, honey. So I just want to reflect that to you, and we want to get you back on the slopes and doing everything that you love. So let's see what code we're getting for you. What part of Colorado are you in, Denise?
I'm in Arapahoe Basin right now by Lake Dillon area up in the mountains.
All right. So I lived on Ptarmigan Mountain in Silverthorne for 25 years. Right? Like literally right, like we're neighbors.
Perfect.
Okay, honey. So here is your first code. This is the 7. And I actually love that your code is starting this way, because this is the ability to receive information outside of your programming. So you can now, this is the ability for your body to receive information outside of its programming. So I want you to look at the card and just feel this code turning on in every cell of your body, because it knows exactly what to do. You don't have to make it happen. You just have to experience it. Beautiful. And then we'll go to the next code, which is the 2. So this is the ability for, you know what I love? This is actually coming to me. This is the one code. Like if you look through the universal language of numbers, this is the code that breaks you out of programming, because it's, if you add this to the 9, you move into the 11, and I won't go into the long story, but the way I want you to see this code is that your body is already holding 2 vibrational patterns. And one of them, you're already existing in a space where the injury isn't even there, because it can't be. Because in source intelligence, your body as source, you're perfect. And your quantum body already knows this. So this is allowing your cells to only observe through the frequency of source. And then the last code is the 22. This is a code of mastery.
Hold the card a little closer to you. I can't see the bottom of it. There you go.
Better?
Perfect. Thank you. Yep.
Of course. So just letting this, just feeling it as it activates every cell of your body, allowing your body to move into the frequency of mastery. Knowing that your body in a frequency of mastery is so much more than what you understand right now. So just let it turn on and have the experience. So now your body is coded. So what I'd like now, what I'd like you to do is, are you in pain with your injuries?
Oh, I can handle it. I figured it out. This one is just very uncomfortable and limiting in a lot of ways, not
Okay.
normal.
So when you get to a place of it being uncomfortable or it's limiting you in any way, I want you to do what we've been doing is I want you to take your injury, so the inflammation between your cells, I want you to push it into your quantum body. Like literally just pushing all of those cells and putting them, you can almost like see like your cells are going online. And what does that mean? Like you're pushing your cells into the system or the technology that's you as source, right? Because you're more than that. So if you have a visual of what your quantum body would look like, see that there's actual technology that's held there, like that's running the intelligence of source. And now I want you to get your cells and I want you to push your cells into that technology and just let them run in the technology so that your cells are starting to identify it as the quantum field instead of identifying in the programming that's creating the illusion of an injury. Well, yes, is it an injury? Well, in one dimension and timeline, that's true. But I can tell you that there's another timeline where it's not. And that's all we're inviting you into. How are you feeling, Denise?
From there, I knew it. I know it. Sometimes I didn't have this technology, but I just did visualization before. And I would go out and then come back and I go, oh, this body's still here, huh? It didn't change yet. So, okay. So pushing everything into the quantum body.
Yes.
Basically.
So what you were doing before, Denise, is that you were just doing it with your consciousness. Turn that inside out. Now ask that frequency of your body. So the frequency of my body that is in a timeline that I'm ascending whatever has been diagnosed, right? I'm ascending it into the technology of source. So it's almost like you're putting in, okay, this is the diagnosis is, but now I'm going to upgrade it, upload it into a software system where it's being held in the frequency of source. Then let your consciousness have the experience of that instead of letting your consciousness have the experience and your body isn't coming along. See the difference?
Yes, absolutely.
You got it, girl.
A few times I glanced at you as I closed my eyes after seeing those images. I saw that I looked like you. We do look a little similar, and I have dark hair and my skin's still nice. And, and it's like we were one. It was really interesting. I guess we are one, right? So we went beyond any particular thing to just oneness. Thank you.
Thank you, Denise.
That was amazing. I'm beyond tears. Loren, thank you.
Just bliss. Thank you, Denise. You are an amazing light worker. Thank you for the incredible space that you hold. Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you so much, both of you. Amazing.
I love it. Oh my gosh. And I want to say, Jewels, there's already been 8 people who took you up on your offer for the big program. So there's 2 more spots, everyone. 2 more spots. Package B for Jewels' fantastic journey. Jewels' amazing journey in consciousness and love and light. It's really remarkable. All right, Brenda, we are coming to you, sister. You can unmute yourself. Hello.
Hello. Am I on?
You are.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. This was like one of them things that isn't a coincidence.
No.
I was like last second and you popped up on the phone and I was right by it. That's happened twice to me with Jewels now. The first time I was just blown totally away because she told me you can heal your whole body. And I've been they told me I was paralyzed 34 years ago at age 24. Wow. So It's been a long, really incredible ride, actually. Crazy and good, and lots of non good. But anyway, wow. So maybe it's time finally to dig into you. I knew it. I've always wanted to connect again with you. So, woo.
Amazing. Well, what lights you up today, Brenda? What would you like to focus on?
Well, about 6 to 8 years ago, I actually pushed 28 pounds. I had a guy I'll make it really short, but this was, I had gone down to a holistic doctor trying to avoid massive rotator cuff surgery. And ended up talking to these people who said, just go to this guy. He's going to free you up. He's going to free you up. He'll lay hands on you. Well, we recorded it all. We have it all on video. He never touched me. And when he was done doing whatever he did, he put me on the weight machine and I pushed like 25 pounds with my legs after 28 years of being paralyzed. And then I came back to my hometown, my town where I live, not my hometown, but I came back to my physical therapist. I got on their machines and pushed 25 pounds. So they couldn't say that it was a hoax machine, right? And then they told me that I was cheating. I'm paralyzed from nipple line down. At 24, you don't want to hear those words. So, but I did have a baby, which was incredible too. But so I've pushed my legs. I know I can stand up. I stand up, but I couldn't lock my knees. I know what you're saying is true. Oh my goodness. So I don't know. I'd like that. I'd love to stand up and walk again.
Okay. I love that you told that story because, in where we're going, because before it's always like, oh, the healer, and all they're doing is turning on that frequency and you're having the experience of it. But then if it's not something that we're consistently focused on, or we're not skilled in being able to hold our frequency there, then we move back into the loop, right? Because our body is programmed to loop. But that's only 10% of what our body is. So let's turn on a code over here. And really, Brenda, what I see for you is, oh gosh, I just, it really is this easy. Like, it's like, I'm not going to do anything different with you than I've done with everybody else, because it's that easy. We just have to start putting our consciousness in the quantum body instead of what we consider our body as form, because that's only 10% of what our body is. And I hope that makes sense. So from this day forward, Brenda, I want you to do everything you do in your quantum body and just make that your daily practice, because there is a part of you that is walking and has been this whole entire time, right? And I know that seems like impossible, but it's not, because like,
it tingles down my spine.
okay,
right now.
I don't need to go any further. You got it.
No,
Okay.
I see it. When you say quantum body, when I started really connecting was when I started seeing a silhouette. They always said, bring the light bring the light in your body. And then I got to thinking, the light is in my body. It's me. I need to put into the light, right?
So turn that, everything is turned inside out, like literally, because we have been programmed that everything is outside of us, but the opposite is true. And that's why, because like when we are observing where the light is and all of this stuff, it's all through our programming. But when we activate a frequency on a DNA level through those codes that are holding source intelligence, then it's an expression of that intelligence. It is our body. And then we move our consciousness into that frequency. It's a completely different experience. And it's much more pure. There's no interference. And you're literally turning on your body as source and having that experience. That's your new life this day forward.
Because we are source.
Yes, you are source.
And I have to watch when I say that, because everybody in this house will lock me up.
And that's only because they've had the experience of being programmed through their five senses. And there's going to be, and this is what I would say that to Brenda is, for me personally, I'm here to become source in the body. And if that makes you uncomfortable, not you, but somebody else
Right.
uncomfortable, that's not my problem. That's your problem. Right?
Excellent, excellent, excellent. Absolutely. Thank you for those words.
Let's see what your code is, Brenda. All right. So you are starting with the 8. So this is the ability for flow. So feeling every cell of your body lighting up. And your body is moving into that frequency of flow as the quantum. So it's shifting what your experience of form is into the quantum field. And I don't mean that the quantum field is outside of you. You are the quantum field. Your body is the field of source. This is turning that on. Feeling it in your body. Okay, so your second code is the 22. So this is the ability to hold mastery. Flow. This is the ability to hold mastery without creating a bunch of timelines. A lot of looping cycles. This is the ability to be in flow, stay in flow, and master what it is to be in flow. Just feeling that as it activates, it's upgrading your body and putting it into the quantum experience through source intelligence as source intelligence. Just feeling that activating. And then the last frequency, which I love, is the 4, which is the ability to hold your body as new form. New form, form of source. Your body is source. And what is form when your body is source? I have no idea. But this frequency is going to turn on so that your body knows. And then you get to have that experience consciously. So just feeling this, you are new form. You have the ability to be in flow, be in mastery of flow as the creator of new form. Because you are that powerful. That code could not have been more perfect, honestly, Brenda. How are you?
I'm tingling. From my shoulders, which is very odd, and the bottom of my neck. That doesn't happen often. From that point, horizontally. Usually it's a vertical. How weird is that? That's so cool. Oh my gosh. I just want to go tuck in my bed and just lay there and just soak this in. But I can't right yet.
Well, at this moment forward, Brenna, is always your body knows. But your body is source. So don't go looking for your body through programming. Don't look at the program body. Allow your quantum body, your source body, to show you the way. That's what your focus is.
Oh, God bless you. Oh my gosh. Source bless you. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Bless us all. We are geez, that even sounds weird now.
I know, right? It's like once you hit that field, you're like, oh my gosh, the way we've been talking is so inside out. You have to come up with a whole new language.
Thank you so much. Oh my gosh. I want to hug you. I'm hugging you.
Right back at you.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brenda.
Oh, thank you, Lauren. Oh my gosh, I love your shows. I love when I connect with your shows.
Oh, thank you. We love you. Thanks for your light, sister. Awesome.
Hugs to you too. Oh my gosh, guys. Woo!
Yay!
What a journey. What an
Wow.
adventure.
All right. Let us know how you're doing. All right.
I will. I will.
Okay. Beautiful. Wow. Jules, we're beyond tears at this point. Yes, we are beyond tears. Really magical. So special to be with you today. Happy travels. Happy travels. We will be in touch with you on your road, on your journey. It's exciting, it's fresh, and we can't wait for more beautiful things to come from you and the higher realms through you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I want to allow you a few moments to wrap up our call with any final thoughts.
Oh gosh, I just want to say thank you for holding the space, for just the beautiful energy that was created. I can really feel how everybody's connecting to this intelligence, and it's lighting me up, because when it all comes down to it, we all can do this. And I know personally, as much as it is my one passion, I mean, it is literally my focus. It is everything in me is like, this is what you're doing. But I don't necessarily want to do it alone, right? I want to share it with others, and I want to have the experience together. And that's why I love getting on these shows and connecting with others and reflecting in just how brilliant we are. So thank you for everyone for holding that reflection with me today, because it definitely lights me up and it keeps me going.
We are so honored, and we are grateful, eternally grateful for the work that you bring forward, and we are lit up right alongside you. Wow, what a beautiful program. What a beautiful world that you are creating. It's so new earth. This is new earth technology, and it shows us where we're heading and all of the great things ahead of us with it. Again, everyone, thank you for joining us. You are part of our living testimony of how this technology works, this divine technology. And we're grateful for that. Share your stories. Again, sign up for this, and we are excited to share this with you. Jules, you are a gem. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Namaste. Bye, everyone. Thank you for listening to this quantum conversation, and thank you for dancing with us to the cosmic heart. As we raise our own vibration, we raise the vibration of the planet. This show is dedicated to you and all awakening hearts, as we are here to shine our bright light and amplify our love. Access all quantum conversations, special offers from our guests, and online healing retreats by visiting acoustichealth.com. I'm Loren Gailey, and from my sacred heart to yours, I honor your magnificent love and light. We leave you now with music from the universe. Music literally created by the universe, as musical notes were assigned to mathematical equations. The result is this beautiful music, available at acoustichealth.com. Namaste.